Well, thank you, everyone, for coming out on this beautiful, glorious day. And certainly the sun is shining on us, and I believe that Gail is shining upon us as well for this wonderful dedication of the Gail Lieberman Memorial Reflective Garden. And it's such an honor to have family here, close friends, board chairman Sheila Griffin. Sheila, thank you, board members, especially the students, and kind of tying this all together, because so many of us knew and worked with Gail back when IMSA was really just a thought in people's minds. And wouldn't this be a great concept to have this special academy for the top talented students in Illinois, where they could come together and study science and mathematics and residential setting, learn in innovative ways, integrative knowing. And it was just a dream. But as we all know, it takes so much for dreams to become reality. And Gail was one of these people who had that something special about her, where she could see these dreams and capture this vision, and make it work. And so I know as she worked in Governor Thompson's office, she really dedicated herself to finding a way to get this job done, because she knew it was right, she believed in it right, and as Gail always had students first and students in her heart. And I think as we, and I think back to so many different memories of Gail, and the conversations we had about gifted and talented, conversations we had about special education students. Every individual child mattered to Gail. And so when we talked to Len about this memorial, about what would be fitting and what would be special for Gail, we thought back about that. And we thought back about how she was able to take these big ideas to reflect and turn them into action. So we talked about a space where students and staff could come to read, to reflect, to converse about big ideas, about things that mattered, and then make them a reality. And I think the other spirit of this garden and this setting, it's a space that invites conversation. And it's a space for people to collaborate. And from our students from all over the state of Illinois come, and for the first time they get to know each other and share ideas and talk. And it's so fun to see the students talking on these benches. And I look around in the crowd here and think about how she touched every one of our lives, and how in some way she brought so many of us together. I know Arthur Berman is senator for over 30 years, I think, right, in the State House. Knew Gail so well, and I think Gail was probably an instrumental factor in you and I working together, Art, back in 99, 2000, 2001. And Lou, I know you've known her personally as well as a great force in the Capitol. But Gail had this way of getting us all to work together for the greater good. And so it's an honor today as IMSA's second president, and to honor this memory of her. And I'm going to ask Len to say a few words, and maybe Stephanie to add a few words as our founding president and president emeritus, because this is truly something special and something, a legacy that we're dedicating this today, but will take us, as I've said, into our next 25 years. We just celebrated our 25th anniversary last year, into our next 25, but ideally for decades and decades beyond. So Len, thank you for your generosity and your drive to get this happening, and Kathy and Paul and other members of the development team for helping us recruit donors. Lou, thank you for getting our legislative brothers and sisters. The state board is represented by Mark and the family, for all coming together to dedicate this Gail Lieberman Memorial Reflective Garden. So Len, I'm going to turn this over to you, ask Stephanie to say a few words, and then we'll do the formal dedication at the very end. Len Lieberman.
My wife Gail was involved with education from the moment she graduated college till the very end. And educational excellence was always a theme of hers. So when I was thinking how the education community in Illinois might best remember Gail, it was a natural collaboration to give Max a call and say, let's honor her here. Gail was a very modest person, a person of significant accomplishment, but not someone that brought attention to herself. I mean, she was the governor's assistant, so by definition, the governor's assistant for education deflects all credit to the governor. She worked with the members of the General Assembly. And I know, as being a lobbyist for 29 years, you do nothing. You credit all the people who push the buttons and actually make the appropriations pass and get things done. So that was Gail. She was a workhorse, not a show horse. She got things done. She was happy to plant seeds of ideas, and she just really took great pleasure in the accomplishments of those around her in collaboration with her in the programming ideas and policies that she promoted. The education reform bill, the massive bill that passed, that included as one paragraph the creation of IMSA, was a bill that Art Berman carried in the state senate. One of the pictures in there is a picture of Art and Representative Hoffman and Gail. I think it was speaking before the Senate committee as a whole, where Gail, probably much to her great displeasure, was asked to speak. And she did, reluctantly, but did, and well, as always. Gail was known as a person that always answered her phone calls, did everything that she said she would do. She was a classic example of the best of state government. She was honorable, she was persistent, she always strived for the highest ambitions of what was best for the children of Illinois. In fact, it even says on her tombstone that commitment to the quality of education. And that's very much is what Gail was all about. This honoring by IMSA pleases me very much, because again, this is the most appropriate place to have it. It's a relatively modest sense. Most people will sit here and not even notice this very nice plaque on the bottom memorializing her. Some people may ask, who is Gail Lieberman? And that's fine too, because you don't know where you're going unless you've known where you've been. And today is a reminder of the origins of IMSA, as Gail was one of perhaps the 4 or 5 people most involved with its creation. Again, with the lowest visibility, but that's the way she liked things. But she really pushed the Bureau of the Budget to make sure that the dollars would be there to purchase this fine facility and remodel it as necessary, and also to make sure that the funding was there for the initial staffing, both teachers and administrative staff for IMSA. That's the way she operated. She just made sure the best and right things got done. She was a wonderful partner in terms of concern about excellence. We were both very much involved with various community groups in town. She never really talked much over the dinner table of what she was accomplishing. We would just talk a lot about policies and where the state of Illinois was going and where it might go. Her friendships were very important to her. Her family, her daughter, were of critical importance to her. But I think she would be very pleased to know that she was being remembered today in this relatively modest place, which would fit her public persona. The idea of it being a reflective garden, I think, is wonderful. And I hope people will come here and think they may look for a reflective pool, but no, the pool is within themselves to reflect, think about where they are, where they're going, where the quality of life for all Illinois students are going, and the quality of life for all of us. To those people at IMSA who are very instrumental in getting this done, of which Max was paramount, and the other people in the development committee, I thank you very much. I even thank the laborers putting up with state contracts and paperwork and all that nonsense it does to get something done through the state of Illinois. I thank them as well. I haven't been here for a very long time, and I was very pleased to see how much the facility has blossomed, and I will be back, maybe in less than 25 years. But I will always smile knowing that this is a very appropriate way to memorialize my wife, and she deserved it. And I'm very proud that IMSA cooperated with me in getting this done. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Marshall, Stephanie Pace Marshall, who needs truly no introduction, our founding president and president emeritus.
Good afternoon, everyone. There is a Buddhist saying that if you want the tree to grow, you shouldn't water the leaves, you should water the roots. And that, I think, Glenn, captures so much of what Gail was and stood for with respect to education, the education of children. And, it matters who walks with us. It always does. We're always looking at collectives and groups of people, but the individual does matter. and it matters with whom you walk. And my relationship with Gail, in some ways as uncommon as it was, she was my thought partner. We had lots of conversations at late night hours, and she did lend exactly what you said. She listened, she was disciplined, very grace-filled. She was uncommon in what would now be characterized as Springfield. Art, you have my apologies. You were there in the good days, the good old days. But it was really a joy to work with Gail because she really did make things happen. She was a remarkable friend and a very thoughtful thought partner. And I think much of where we have been is rooted in the roots that she helped us water. And so I'm very grateful to be here. Max, thank you for inviting me to make some words. And Len, it's great to see you. And the first thing I said to you when I met you is you look just like your mom, and that's a really, really good thing. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Stephanie. Well, as you probably saw when you walked through on campus, and again, thanks to students for providing the tours, you saw a snippet of our mission statement on the wall. And perhaps if you had time to talk to one of the young men and young women, and even ask them about the mission statement, they could tell you that snippet about igniting and nurturing creative, ethical, scientific minds that advance the human condition. Thank you, Elise and Lily and Sheriff. That advance the human condition. And so as we formally dedicate the Gail Lieberman Memorial Reflective Garden, I wanted to recognize that this is a woman who achieved this mission long before it was on our wall, who has done so much to advance the human condition through education and through the example to all of us. And speaking for myself, I cannot wait just to sit down. And she and I used to talk about various books we read a book, think some big thoughts, talk to some of our students about what they're doing to advance the human condition and make a difference in the world, as Gail has made for all of us, for this great institution, for the state of Illinois, our country, and I think well beyond. So with that, we will formally dedicate the Gail Lieberman Memorial Reflective Garden on this day, September 10th, 2012. And with that, God bless you all, and thank you, Len, and thank you to all of you for this very special place that we will keep in our hearts forever. Thank you.